Okay, hello and welcome to this week's episode of Road to Winning a Natural IFBB Pro Card. There has been, crazy enough, some more changes towards the direction, or for the direction that we're heading towards. I'll start from the top basically, and I'll try to go through it. I've changed the question format because I feel like it was getting a bit. I was going things in a roundabout way as opposed to just kind of going through it in a way that works in my head. The only thing that helped with the other topics was just that it gave me more things to talk about, but if the video is short or if the video is long, it's whatever. I'm just gonna try to give out as much information as I can remember to do, and we'll go from there. All right, first things first, that's top of my mind is the show has changed again. What? Oh my god! Surprise, surprise! That's crazy. So what I decided to do is go through with the WNBF, kind of go for that all the way. So I actually First of all, I don't think I'm going to be in shape for it. Well, it's not impossible. I just don't think I'll be in my best shape ever for this show. Reason being is just that I only just realized yesterday that I'm underneath 12 weeks out from the show. Now, weight wise, technically, I can make it. So let's say, for instance, right now, I'm around 103 kg and my weight has kind of been stagnant because my system right now is basically, I'm still doing cardio, still training, getting my steps in, that kind of stuff. But my steps aren't religiously getting in. But also, on the weekends, if somebody wants to hang out or there's a social event happening, I don't say no because I kind of wanted to use this period to spend time with my friends and kind of enjoy myself. And the thing is, anytime I socialize, I'm like an addict. Like anytime I socialize, I have to eat and enjoy myself. I don't know what it is. I'm working on it. But for the meantime, so this weekend I met some friends, ate anything I wanted. Last weekend, I don't know what happened, but I was eating. Weekend before that, I don't know what happened, but I was eating. But obviously not just a crazy amount, but only enough to keep me out of maintenance at 103 range rather than being able to consistently get lower. So what would happen is during the week, I'll probably drop down to like 101, 102, but then by the weekend, I don't put a limit on what I eat, which kind of really hinders me. So now, as I'm around 103. So technically, there's about 12, let's say there's 11 weeks out. It's not reasonable for me to lose 1 kg per week and get to 92 by show day. But the way in which it happens also affects how I'll look. And what I mean by that is right now I'm a fluffy 103 as opposed to a lean 103, right? If that makes sense. And when I say fluffy, so that means that by the time I get down to let's say 92, I won't look as um, vascular or as grainy as I would if I was just consistently if I was at this 103 at a lean rate. So I kind of have a look. I'll kind of have a look that doesn't really reflect. Um, let's say, for example, a clean 12 weeks of off season. I feel like this has definitely been like a a rough off season where my consistency hasn't. And I think it really goes to show consistency does show on the physique. Like if we just because what will happen is I would have to get down to 92 or whatever it is by dieting hard, as opposed to going to 92 at a state that's almost at home homeostasis, meaning that a place that isn't stressed, and the additional stress does show on your conditioning and body. So um, all that to be said, I don't think I'll look my best um, if I push hard to get to 92 for this show. I still will because of course, I want to win it. And I think the only way I'll be able to win is to come in at around 92. But it's just a shame that it won't be my best 92. However, as I mentioned before, placing high in this show basically allows me to qualify for Worlds, which is the bigger show in Canada. So WNBF. Okay, can't imagine why the font would look like that. WNBF Worlds on the, I think it's on the 20th of the 11th, 26. So this show would actually be and technically actually, if I win a pro card in this show, I'll compete at the show as a pro. I can still compete as an amateur if I place well, if I don't win the overall or pro card in the WNBF one. But the reason why I want to do the WNBF is after like the guy from last week messaged me about it. I think a good way to explain it is that that there are two camps, right? So WNBF has been a credible natural federation for a much longer time. Let me actually pull up their Instagram. Okay, so this is the world's show on the yeah. So I think this is like the 37th like world show, which is kind of crazy. They've been active in the natural scene for quite a while. Um, Let me have a look. What was I looking for? Anyway, okay. Top 10 years drug-free policy. I think that means that like you have to have been natural for 10 years, something like that, to qualify as natural, which I am, so it's not a big deal. But they basically have like the longest unofficial streak of natural shows, and it's very highly respected. Now, the IFBB Pro cards have come in recent. Well, the natural ones have come in recently to sort of kind of like join in on the um, scene, but there isn't one organization for it. So anywhere you go, everybody highly respects WNBF as the natural federation. Everybody kind of is kind of aware of it. But then, if you even last week, the way I was speaking about it, there's different places that do IFBB Pro shows, and it's kind of hard to um, I guess it's kind of hard to moderate or um, put it all in one place, like how they actually verify their natural athletes. I think they have very lax rules on it. So I think some people are able to use like gray area drugs, where, for example, like I don't know, maybe peptides or things that haven't been studied yet. So that kind of allows it kind of makes the IFBB natural scene a bit less credible. So another way I explained it to a friend was that imagine if um like rapping, right? Everybody that knows music thinks Kendrick Lamar is a better rapper, but people that like music think that Drake is a better rapper, in that kind of way. So if the WNBF is Kendrick, IFU Pro is Drake, right? Then the name is still quite big. It's just that everybody knows what's what. So I kind of want to stay credible in the WFBF scene for at least a year. And also they do out of season testing as well. So if somebody wants to, let's say, do like drugs in the off season and then be clean during the season, they won't allow this. So they actually test their pros, which I kind of want to just kind of experience what it's like to be an official like that IFU Pro, so it's a WNBF Pro for a year, and maybe even compete in another show next year before then going for the IFBB Pro card, the natural one. And the other thing as well is that the complications around the fact that I wouldn't be able to actually, or I don't have one show to be able to get a WNBF, so the IFBB Pro card, which is the Euro National Natural show, and then try to compete in the Ben Waters one right afterwards. It's kind of like it's a very small window, whereas the WNBF to the Worlds window is about 6 weeks, so it gives me a long time to prepare. Long story short, WNBF is the way for this year, and then next year is when I'll chase the IFU Pro card as well. Yeah, so the shows have changed again, but fingers crossed. I don't see, I don't see this changing as we are. The reason why I laugh is that I might do a show in between this. The only thing that's going to stop me from doing that show is if I kind of just want to lock in and not be distracted between this show and the next one. Okay, so that's what's changed. I'm still in the productive fat loss phase. However, obviously, like actually, I'll show you my chart. So this is what I use for myself to kind of just track how my weight is doing. I've got my shows are highlighted here. So my weight was like it was going down. It wasn't going down as much as I like. You can see I kind of fumbled this week. But what would happen is this changes on average. So as I put in more data on the thing is here, I can't be able to track to actually yeah. So as I put in more data here, it gets my weekly average from here and then puts it into here. So this will change. I'll definitely endeavor to drop myself down to average at least 2 to 7 by the end of the week. This morning I was 2 to 8, so it's not too far fetched. And I don't know, I might just like do an excessive amount of cardio by the weekend to make sure that I make weight for the end of the week. That's another thing as well. Like if needed to, I do have the energy right now to just do some more cardio and push myself in that way. But I don't want to stress myself in that way. But yeah. Well, so what I mean to say is I'm still in a productive fat loss phase, but if needed, I will do maybe 2 to 3 weeks of push, and I don't know, I might even come up with a system where I alternate of 2 weeks push, 2 weeks like productive, 2 week push, 2 week productive. I don't know. Like one thing about not having a coach is that I can experiment with these phases as much as I want, and figure out what works best for me. And it doesn't have to be like my long-term plan. It could just be my current one until I find a consistent one. Because some people do no carbs, some people do high carbs, some people do all these kind of different variations that ends up working or doesn't work for them. And I'm more than open to trying different things that works for me, because every once in a while I do have that random urge to run like a 10K, which is just, it's so unreasonable because I don't even enjoy it, but my body just tells me to go and I kind of have to go. So if, let's say, I've done about, I think, 2 weeks of, maybe even 3 weeks, this will be the third week, I think, of 5K running. Maybe next week I could do a week of 10K running. I don't know. It's just here or there, but it's kind of something that I would have to decide as if I see that I'm not actually getting closer to my target as it stands at the moment. But right now I'm not too stressed because it's 11 weeks out. On average, I should be able to lose 1% body fat. So yeah, 1% of body fat by the time I get to here. So even if I come in at 102 to 201 by this show, I'll still be leaner than I was my previous show, basically. So there's literally no stress. All I have to do is follow the plan, and it's gonna work. So that's what we're over there. This is obviously the goal in terms of the macros. Right now, my diet has pretty much been the same. I'm still eating ESPN rice pudding and whey powder. I've started adding dates and dark chocolate to it just to give it a bit more of a flavor profile. But honestly, I could eat it plain. But one thing about dieting is you can kind of figure out ways to add and subtract from your meals. It's like, I think of it as like building blocks. So you can add or remove building blocks to help the meal taste better. But as you get further into prep, if things need to be removed, just remove a piece of the meal, as opposed to having to find a whole new recipe or a whole new way to fill your macros. So you kind of want to start with as much variables, or adding as much variables as possible, and then remove them as and when needed to hit your macros. So I basically have 3 meals of rice pudding and protein powder, and then my last meal is rice and chicken with a whole bag of lettuce. Cardio still the same. There's no issues there. The one not issue, but the one thing I'm having is, one thing that's coming up is after I do quads, especially as I'm pushing, like I've got the energy to push right now. Legs are really hard to it takes a while to recover. So I did quads on Monday. Today is Wednesday. Quads are still burning. Obviously, I love it because I like to push myself. But I'm just thinking like, damn, I'm gonna have to quickly adapt to this level of training so that I can quickly be able to push cardio, because right now cardio is the main driver of my deficit, not training sessions. As much as I love to train hard, if training hard is going to then cause a knock-on effect on my ability to do cardio, I'll have to reconsider. One thing I'm also considering is going to do cardio at the gym, kind of doing maybe 10 to 15 minutes before my session, just to kind of add that bit more of a deficit. But it's not something that I need to do right now because I'm in line for being on track. Yeah, I think that's about it. It's kind of, well, yeah, the routine is still the same. It still works quite good. I don't really have any problems with it. I'm enjoying it. The gym I go to is quite nice. It's not really it gets busy, but it's still, even though it's busy, it doesn't actually feel like I don't have to wait for anything. And everybody's nice. But I think one thing that's funny is that I think when you're a like big person at the gym, everybody's kind of just nice to you, which is like, it's like the cheerleader effect, or the pretty girl effect when you go to, like, how pretty girls will be treated. You kind of get that same effect when you're big at the gym. Anyway, that's it. I have a chest development program that I've built for just like anybody who's interested in that. It's a program that basically helps you kind of understand my mindset with training. I have the training program basically split out into sessions. So if you have like 3, 4, or 5 or 6 days a week to train, I basically built program templates for each of those days. So if you're interested in that, if that sounds like something you want to do to develop the chest, feel free to you can comment chest or message me chest, and I'll send you the it's paid as well. It's £100. You can comment chest, and I'll send you everything and set it up. The bonus that comes with that is, though, for 8 weeks after you buy the program, I'll coach you basically through how to use the program and how to apply it to your own situation. So you basically get the program for life, and then 8 months of coaching completely free. Anyways, if that sounds appealing, feel free to message me. If not, if you want to do one-to-one coaching, that's also available too. and we could talk about if you want to compete. That is it. Bye.